we've had this huge move. So I would be hoping that this is the low at this point, and then this move would take us back up to take out these highs up here. That would be the ideal scenario. If that is not correct and we're not finished going down, then at this point we would have something like that, and we could come back down one more time before we get that move. So that is still a possibility. Now we're in earnings season now, so we're just kicking off last night with Tesla, I believe. This should hopefully guide us to let us know what's going to be, moving forward. How are these companies faring in the last quarter, which has been a turbulent one with Mr. Trump, and his tariffs and so forth. So, all right, so that's a weekly look at the chart overall, and so again, at this point here, make this a little bigger. This is what we have. So based on this structure, we could see something like that. That is a total possibility. And again, I'm hoping that that's not the case, but the charts are the charts. They do what they do. So on the daily, again, this is what it kind of looks like. So it seems quite odd that this is so long here, this move. So it could be something like that, but then this is too short. So if this was the case here, this is very short for a 3. And then this would be a 1, 2, 3 again. So it's looking like we should come up and then collapse. So remember from yesterday, I was saying that from at this point here, we should be going back up to take out these highs. And this is what's happening right now. We're heading back up to take out the highs. But once we take out these highs, if we break this high, then yes, we could see price continuing. But if we can't break this high, then we could see price returning back to the lows. So that's again a possible scenario. So as I come down the time frames, 4 hour, again, we're seeing what I pointed out yesterday was that when we were here yesterday at these lows and looking for price to push up to take out these highs. Of course, like I said, it would take a while to do that. However, so this is what the structure we looked at. We're kind of in a triangle and looking for a price to push back to the upside. So that's what's going on. So we've got these liquidity levels up here, and they're gunning for those highs right now. Once we break those highs again, this is going to be the key here. If we can't break that high, then it's likely that we're coming back down, and that would give us our structure looking to take out these lows down here. So that's an unfortunate chart if that happens that way, but that's a likely scenario, possible scenario. Okay, so on the hourly, right now everything looks pretty good, right? We're rocking along to the upside, and that's what we like to see. We've got a 1, 2 here, and big push up, and we're still going. Okay, so looking pretty good. So from this gap yesterday, 30 minutes, we're still pushing to the upside. 15 minutes, we're still pushing to the upside. So gotta keep going on the ride here and looking for longs for 1, 2, 3 bottoms. So we are the 1, 2, 3 traders.
Peter?
Yes, sir. I'm calling him as we speak. Right, so we are the 1, 2, 3 traders, and we're essentially looking for this setup here. This is what we're looking for. This is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3. So it's a 1, 2, 3, the low point, high point, low point. Same thing again, low point, high point, low point. Catch the move. Exit 1.618, 1.414, or 1.272. Retracement from points number 1, between point 1 and point 2, the retracement is in approximately the 50 to 62% area. That's our ideal entry area. There are other entry possibilities, but this is the highest probability entry area. So that's why we go for that. So same thing here, retrace, again, looking for 50 to 62%. However, doesn't mean it has to go to 50 to 62. It can be less, it can be more, but this is the highest probability area. That's our 1, 2, 3 system. That's all. That's it. It's as simple as that. We're just trying to find those 1, 2, 3s. So here's another 1, 2, 3 right there. Here's another 1, 2, 3 right there. Here's another 1, 2, 3 right there, and so on. So yeah, that's what we look to play. Okay, so this is on the 15-minute. I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute, and again, nice push to the upside. Still, we're still looking for just 1, 2, 3 bottoms. Here was one after going through a sideways move. We get a 1, 2, 3 there. That's a nice play. After going through a sideways move here, we get another 1, 2, 3 here. There's even one right here, and get that move. There's a 1, 2, 3 top coming down, but this is a counter trend move, and you have to be really careful on counter trends. There's a 1, 2, 3 at this point as well, but it's a counter trend, and you know this didn't take you very far if you went the opposite way, because the trend is to the upside. We're primarily looking for 1, 2, 3 bottoms. So here's a 1, 2, 3 bottom at this point, and that would have been a nice move to the upside. Here's a 1, 2, 3 top again, like I said right there. That would have been okay play there, but again, you take a risk going counter to the trend. So as we speak right now, on the 5-minute time frame, we're setting up again for a new 1, 2, 3, something like that to continue. There is a smaller 1, 2, 3 right here. It's just 2 candles, and that makes a 1, 2, 3 as well. And we'll see that on the 1-minute time frame, it is indeed a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and there it is on the 1-minute time frame. So 2 candles on the 5-minute. Those 2 candles on the 5-minute time frame, if I just highlight them right there, if I drop to the 1-minute, that creates a 1, 2, 3 bottom right there. That is a beautiful entry if one would have caught that. So there we go. All right, so looking for an entry now, but we are a couple minutes away from the open. So what can we expect here? Since we're looking for on the 5-minute time frame, if I go back to the 5 minutes, since we're looking for a 1, 2, 3, a larger 1, 2, 3 now, then what I would do is mark off this gap right here. We call Armin. Let's see if I can get Armin in here.
Peter called too, and I don't see him yet.
I did call him. If you could, okay, I'll give him another try here. Okay, so marking off my gap here. 5 minute. We're about to start here. 1 minute to go before the market opens. 10 seconds to go before the market opens. Okay, so there's my 5 minute gap. I'm looking really for a retrace back into the gap, and then that would be a nice buy opportunity to the upside to go and take out this high up here. So let's see if we do get a retrace back into the gap. These are my 4-hour candles. The last 3 4-hour candles. Okay, so I'm looking to see if they come back in here. They might not, but all right. So they're going right away to finish our 5 waves. So we're looking for a structure of 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm still looking for them to come back into this gap. I'd like them to take out this low, come back in here, give us an opportunity to get in to continue going up. Go back to the 15. We've been moving up quite steadily here. So I would think that we would continue pushing up and looking for this first target way up here, the hourly. Okay, so looking for them to come back into this gap here. Just see how it looks on the 5 minute again. So on the 5, so we have, there was a smaller gap on the 5 minute that I didn't realize was there. It was in play. They came back into that one already. So we did touch into that first gap. Okay, so will they come back? Will they come back in here? Will they come back and take out this low? Or are they just going to continue going? If I put my fibs on this move here from the high to, or from the low to the high, I'm looking for a retracement back to the 50 to 62% area, but I don't know if they're going to do it.
It's been pretty strong this morning, Lennox. I did the trick of going from a high to a low, where my low was at about 8 o'clock this morning, and take it back to the high and duplicate it. And I got in the trade at the parallel diagonal. I got in a little late. I was on time for the drawing, but by the time I started getting in, I got a big bar going. But it's been moving north. I'm over 150 handles already.
That's excellent. I'm watching Bitcoin as well. And so Bitcoin also very strong. Again, looking at Bitcoin, hoping that that was the bottom down here. Let me just keep my NAS, keep my eye on NAS as well as I'm speaking here on my other screen. Okay, so Bitcoin, similar to the indices, has been in a tier. So we came through this. I'm on the weekly time frame. We came through this chop, created a beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom at that point. Yet another 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then we were off. We chopped it all up in here, dropped. So I'm calling this the bottom. I'm hoping that's the bottom. Looks pretty good, and that we've got a 1, 2, 3 here to push us up to take out all these highs and continue going. So of course, once we take out these highs, we could get a pullback, of course, and a continuation. So Bitcoin is kind of saying, that yes, we should be doing something like that and continuing on. So I'm optimistic that that is the case. However, it is possible that they, it is possible that we could come back down and take out these lows. But again, I'm looking for optimistic view and that we would continue pushing higher. All right. Okay, so Bitcoin very strong. So the same kind of thing. That's the daily time frame there. They swept these lows. We get a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we're pushing to the upside. So looking to take out the first high up here. We've taken out first one here, and this one's next, and so on. So I could mark that one off as the next one to come. So I'm keeping my eye on the NAS. I'm looking for them to come back down into my gap. So let's see if they will do that. This will be the next low-hanging fruit. And then, so on the 4-hour, very strong, pushing to the upside. On the hourly, again, very strong.
30.
Very strong.
There's going to be news coming up here in 10 minutes.
Yes. Some red news at 9:45. All right, so very strong again on Bitcoin. So we're just looking for 1, 2, 3 bottoms primarily. So anytime there's an opportunity for a 1, 2, 3 bottom, that's what you have to take advantage of to catch some of these moves. Pulling back quite a bit. So I see the NAS is coming back down quite a bit here. So there is Bitcoin doing similar. There was a nice 1, 2, 3 there to catch that move. At this point, sweep and a 1, 2, 3 setting up on Bitcoin to continue to move as well. So, all right, so NASDAQ has come right back down. So I'm going to go jump back to the NAS here and back to the 1 minute. So we've come right back into where I was expecting them to come back to. So can I take advantage of this now? This looks pretty good. Let's see. If I can jump, I'm going to wait for a 1, 2, 3 bottom at this point. So that would be a fractal. A fractal is just 3 candles, higher lows to the side of the lowest candle. And then a breach of that high of the middle candle would be an entry. Or I can wait for the full 1, 2, 3 and enter that from the low or enter again on a fractal. So lots of different ways of entering. So this was the pullback I was looking for and expecting. So let's see if this will give us the play that I'm looking for here. So they've come quite a ways down. You see they're going right through that gap. Here's another gap here on the 1 minute. Whoa, and that's not even news time, and we're wow. So I was just gonna say I'm getting ready to look for an entry right here, and they've taken off on me. So this was exactly what I was looking for them to come back in and to look to get an entry, and they didn't even give me a chance.
Wow, they really shot up.
Yeah, they didn't even give me a chance to get in. So I was looking on the seconds chart here. And I had my structure, and I was looking to get in on that fractal, and they're gone without me. So as quickly as that. So yeah, that's an unfortunate one in that case there, because I was too slow pulling the trigger.
So Peter asked to be invited again.
Go ahead, George. Can you invite him?
Okay.
Or, if you can't, I can do it, but if you can, just go ahead. All right, so yeah, that was very quick movement there. So it didn't give anybody a chance to get in at all. So we almost reached our high that we were looking at. So I'm going to go up to the 15. So that high there, let's see where that is. Can't even see it on the 4-hour. There we go. So
I can't see an invite on mine.
Okay, no problem. I'll invite him. You just have to hover over his name, and if you hover over his name, you should show.
Well, yeah, I know, but I didn't see it.
Okay, there he is. All right.
Oh, I see participants over here.
Okay, so we're very close to that high that we were looking to go and take out here, and then we have yet another one above that. I'm just going to mark these off. Whoops.
There he is. He's on now. Okay.
Peter, were you having difficulties getting on, or is that what happened? Not talking to us. Okay.
He's on the web one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out if he was having problems getting on. Is he not seeing the call? What's going on his end? I don't know. Okay, so they look at that. They came back again. They came back and give us a second opportunity to get in. So now we have a large 1-2, another 1-2. So this was another opportunity to jump in at that point. So again, another missed opportunity here. Right in here. So looking at the seconds chart again, you can see that this opportunity was a ripe one. When I say ripe, it was very clear that there's a beautiful 1, 2, 3 right there, and we're getting another chance at it again. So at this point, I'm going to buy it right there, because I think we're going to go. So I know it's getting close to news time, but I take this opportunity to buy that 1, 2, 3. So we're getting a double 1, 2, 3. So we should get a move up, and that's what we are. So at this point, I'm going to take advantage of that and look for a quick profit and put a stop in below here. So not risking too much. I'm looking for them to continue pushing up, see if we can take out the high up here. So in essence, I'm on the 1 minute here, this should be the draw on liquidity, and we should be heading back up to take out that high. It is a possibility they could come back and take out these lows because they're mean. They can do that, but because we have a 1, 2, 3 in here, we have like a double 1, 2, 3. So we should push back to the upside, but they could be vicious here, and the news could, of course, give them a tail that will take us out and then continue back up. So the news is going to be in 3 minutes. If they linger around in here, that's a very big possibility that we could just get a tail that could take me out, and we could continue going up. So is this a good spot for my stop? It's a bit tight, so that could put me in jeopardy. But I did get a nice profit on that, just that small move, quick exit. Let's see if we can continue pushing. This is dangerous territory, of course, at this point in the morning. So there's a gap right there. I'm just going to mark this gap. And there's also an inverted gap. So can we push out of here?
It's looking like it wants to push out.
Yeah, it looks like it does want to. So we'll see if we can do it. So my target would then be this high up here. Let's go a tad above the high.
We've got 30 seconds to news time, thereabouts.
Unless you're voting for the party the other people don't like, right?
Okay, someone needs to mute.
Slightly fake balance put through by the secret ball that's actually running the
It's
government.
Peter.
Party wins. Party like what?
I'm going to have to mute you, Peter, because your radio is on.
There he goes.
Okay, so I didn't even check
Okay.
Tesla.
So
Oh my.
pending
How
now.
did Tesla do? Okay, so we opened up quite, so Armin, they did me in completely. So Tesla gave their earnings last night.
Okay, good news on PMI. It's now above 50. Final services PMI is at 51, which is slightly lower. So one might cancel out the other. Manufacturing is positive and services negative.
Okay, so that's given a boost to that move to the upside.
I didn't hop into this trade because I didn't know if we'd get a big spike or not. But I've got enough handles right now to take it easy.
So this is what happened with Tesla. Even though their earnings weren't stellar, they still opened up with quite a gap to the upside, interestingly. Now, yesterday, I decided to buy the puts, the 232.5 puts, expecting a gap down. And you can see I was totally wrong. So I was right in the fact that they would have terrible earnings, and yet they had terrible earnings and they still pop. So
they went up last night during extended hours.
Yeah, it must be some other news that Mr. Musk had given them hope for the future, probably, because their numbers were terrible. So
Musk is reducing his role in Doge and going back to working with Tesla to get their sales up because they had a big drop in sales.
Yes, so it was the after news that gave them this spurt to the upside. So here we looking at it, and we go down to the 1 minute on Tesla here. And so at this point, we've had a sweep. So we'd be looking for a 1, 2, 3 to possibly continue. Possibly, I'm saying possibly because we do have a 1, 2, 3 here. Another one. We could come down a ways into this gap that has formed here. So could be some down. So this was our close from yesterday. And this is our open is way up here. Interesting. Wow. So that's quite a gap there.
Okay, the other good point, Lennox, is that we've had a drop in VIX to just about 28, almost just shy of 28 right now. It had been well over 30 yesterday. Not well over, but in the 30s, I should say.
We're inside this big gap, and they could certainly come down a ways into it here before they turn around. So keep your eye on that. Let me go back to the NAS. So we're getting that a good push. I've pushed my stop into positive, and so there's no loss on this trade, and looking for them to take out the highs and go higher. Let's take a look at Bitcoin again. So very choppy, messy kid stuff here on Bitcoin. Go back up to the 5 minute on Bitcoin. You can see super choppy. On the 5 minute, beautiful 1, 2, 3 top at that point to take this move to the downside, give us our structure. You sweep the lows, give us another 1, 2, 3 bottom here. And then this big push up, huge drop back down. That's just a crazy state of affairs there. And now they're trying to push back out. So again, if we could get it could get in down here, that would be an ideal. But it's very choppy, very messy. It's stuff here. So right now we haven't had any sweeps down here. We're essentially from over here. Another sweep right there. We've got a 1, 2, 3 right there. So buy opportunity on Bitcoin currently in this area to continue going up. But it's very messy, very challenging area because it's not completely evident. You have to really look at this to see what's going on. So we have a low here. Nice 1, 2, 3 here. They could take out this low again. That's possible. They could wick down. So looks like that's what they're going to do. Very close to taking that low. My 4-hour candles are saying we opened, got a small wick or tail, and then a big push up to take out the previous high, and now we're getting rejection coming back down.
Alexa, so, shuffle market.
I'm sorry?
The playlist market and similar tracks on Amazon Music.
Okay. You were saying something, Marquise?
I let it fall. My heart.
Okay. Please mute yourself if you're...
It was dark.
Mute Marquise. Okay. We're getting serenaded this morning here. All right. All right, so they did come on Bitcoin, they did come and take out that low in here, so that messed up our 1, 2, 3. So now we have a 1, 2, 3 like this way. So unless, if they don't take this low, then this is a legitimate 1, 2, 3 that could continue back up. So let's see. Right, so my NAS, I'm out of my position. I moved my stop up under this red bar here to protect the profits. My target was just right here, and they came very close, but I got stopped out on that pullback. So you can expect that they could pull back. So I put my stop up to protect the profits and got taken out at that point. So very close to target though at that point, and just needed one more little push there, and we could have been through. So should continue pushing up again. So we'd be looking for a 1, 2, 3 bottom again to continue to the upside. And might have just missed my entry again. If I wanted to get in, this was a quick 1, 2, 3 right there. There's a fractal. That could have been an entry to continue going back up at that point. If I really want to get in again, I'm not terribly enamored at this point. They could still come back down one more time, take out this low. Take out this low. Yeah, I'm getting no gaps in here, so it's a bit messy. It looks like they want to take out the lows here. They're taking out the first one. So let's see if they go for the second one here. How is the S&P doing with all this stuff? It's basically identical, right? Yeah. No divergences at all at this point. Or am I seeing things? This is a little bit of a sweep here on S&P. S&P swept that previous high. NASDAQ did not. Yeah, NASDAQ did. Yes, no, they did. It's a sweep. So they both swept. So it's the same. So there they go, just taking out the lows, So will they take this one?
NASDAQ is up 3.4%, while S&P is up 2.8%, and Dow is up 2.4%. So this is aggressively moving down right now.
Yeah, so they're taking out all these lows. So all we got was a sweep of this high, interestingly. So they didn't go through to take out the high to the left. So that's quite interesting. So they're leaving those guys alone. All right, so I'm going to look at this from a higher time frame again and take a boost. So there's the 5 minute. So we've had quite the nice move to the upside. Looking for them to take out that high, but they did not. So 30 minute hourly. I want to see to the left here what's over there. So I have to go to the 4 hour to see that. So that high, I was expecting them to take that high, but they did not. So still looking for them to continue pushing up though.
It just touched on the future. It just touched the fair value gap that began at the left of the huge candle. Yeah, that candle was 937 candle.
All right, so what I'm noticing here is that Bitcoin is dropping dramatically here. Well, when I say dramatically, you want on the 1 minute time frame. So it is dropping quite a bit. So this was looking like it was a possible move to the upside. I was a bit hesitant about jumping in, and that was the reason why, because these relatively equal lows are in play, and so they could easily come back down, take them out. So this is what they've done. So because we came up so high and they dropped it back so quickly, these lows, this low here is in jeopardy, because we hadn't swept anything over to this side. So that's what they've done. They've gone right through them to the downside. So if I go up to the 15 on Bitcoin, you can see what they've done. They've swept these relatively equal highs here, big pullback. So these relatively equal lows come into play on the way down. So where are they going to on the way down? We have a gap on the 15 here. I'm just going to mark that across this gap here. And we could be coming into that area. So let's see if that does in fact occur, and we get a bounce off that. So quite the drop here on Bitcoin at this point. So I'd be looking now because I'm expecting them to continue going up, because our overall trajectory is to the upside. Even though they've swept this high, do we still have more upside to come? Bouncing off that, would that be in the cards, or are we done and they're coming down to take out these lows? If we break this low, then of course that's a break of structure and so forth. So we would be then looking to come back down, which would be not so good. So we'd like to see them bounce off this gap here right about now, right? So see if that will occur. If we continue going through that, then we could be in trouble because we do have a low at that point. But that would kind of violate our structure if we come down and break these lows. We've got a nice 1, 2, 3 here. It is possible for them to break it though. That's the move. There's the move. So the next move I would expect is back to the upside to continue going. But so this is very important at this moment in time right here. Right, so 5 minutes, that's what it looks like, 1 minute. So got a nice fractal, but doesn't mean that we're done here at this point. So I have to be careful about entering, even though it's very tempting entry here. We have a 1, 2.
We have a 10 o'clock has hit. We have a lot of action on the NAS at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we're getting some violent movements on the NAS now. So
Yeah.
Interestingly, on the NAS, we now have broken that high. So it very.
I don't know if we're going down or up at this point, to tell you the truth.
Okay, so the overall trajectory is still to the upside. So we would expect that. Now they've broken that first high that we were looking at. That's where I had my target. So I was expecting them to go through and take that out. However, they decided to come back down first before they did that. So the news at 10 o'clock, if there was news at 10 o'clock.
No, the crude oil at 10:30. I'm checking now for
something has triggered this.
I think I found it. No, that's not it.
So we opened on that candle and immediately it looks like we screamed to the upside and screamed back to the downside to sweep the lows. And now we're looking again I would expect us to continue going to the upside. We're still in an overall uptrend, so that's what we would be expecting. So keep that in mind. So in regards to Bitcoin, we're playing off that gap. However, we do have a 1, 2, 3 right here. So this drop, we could still come back down one more time to take out these equal lows. So I'm just a bit wary of this occurring. So they might do that, they might not do that. So it's a we would expect that though, right? We would expect that because we do have a 1, 2, 3 top. So we'd expect them to take this low out one more time, but they might not do it because sometimes they don't do it on Bitcoin for whatever reason. They don't like sometimes to take that low, which is what we expect. So I have gaps in here. So this could be our ceiling, and we could return from here. But we have other gaps above as well. So back to the NAS again. So very, very choppy, very tough to play at this point in the NAS.
I'm almost considering more down than up possible on NAS, but boy, I am stepping aside and letting it play whatever it's going to do because it's a big guess at this point.
Yeah, it's volatile, so you have to be super careful here. That's definite. That's a definite.
I don't have any increase in VIX at this point, but my ATR is saying that we are very volatile at this point.
looking at Bitcoin now, and Bitcoin's saying, you know what, I'm not even going to turn around at all. I'm just going to keep going. But I would still expect a retrace here. So do we get it is the question. So quite a nice move here, but they can still do come back and take that low, although it's not looking so promising anymore at this point. So that might have been a missed opportunity, and you know, you have to be cautious at these lows. Even though we did come into the gap, everything looked pretty good. I had a nice fractal. I could have entered at that point. This would have been a nice trade just in itself right there, but they could have also just turned back at that point. So looking pretty good here. So I would wait for a retrace now to get in. They've come quite a ways up. So they've come right back up into our 1, 2, 3 at the top here. There's another 1, 2, 3. So you see that we don't get a fifth wave here. We're not getting that turn back to do that. So quite the move back up. So looking for a retrace of this move now. See if we get that. Meanwhile, on the NAS, how's Tesla doing? Tesla's just sauntering along here. Not much going on in Tesla. So tough playing here. You could have played this to the downside, but that's about it so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it seems to be favoring, but boy, I just don't like the setup. It could go either way in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we're in algo time right now.
Yeah, we're in algo time, but I'm thinking that the algo is not going to appear. Too volatile at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty messy here. It's still looking to go to the upside, but it's very tricky trying to catch a ride on this train. Without this candle here, then we do have a nice structure. But this
without that candle,
we have a nice structure, but that kind of messed everything up. That wick, the wick and the tail. So here we have a 1, 2, 3 forming.
Yeah, well, 1, 2, 3 either way without that candle in there.
So this could be our push out at this point now. There's equal lows here. They could come back one more time, take those lows. So we're still not out of the woods, totally. Yeah, it's a tough situation right now to play in. As much as I'm looking for them to go, I don't really want to be buying at these levels here. I'd rather get a pullback lower like that. So that's what I would expect, that they would sweep that low. But you see, they're not hanging around for very long. Once they do that, they're more than likely gonna take off now unless they're gonna go gun for these lows again. So it's very iffy area. We're very choppy. So that's why I'm not jumping in and taking a trade, because it's too choppy, a bit too choppy.
If I look at my volume profile, they're in the positive side of a big pyramid on the positive side of the point of control, if that makes sense to you. And there's a lot of volume up here, so anything really goes.
Another way of looking at this chart right now, eliminating the wick and tail on this candle, then you get a 1, 2 here, and then we're just chopping.
Oh, yeah.
So they could come down and take out all these lows.
This is chopping with a positive emphasis on it, but very slightly positive emphasis.
This is one of the reasons why this game is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
But if there's no trade, if there's nothing that looks really good, then you don't trade, and that's basically it. I've managed to squeak out some profit, on this move to the upside. But you don't want to I don't want to jeopardize the profit now and jumping in willy-nilly just because you want to make more profits. It doesn't make sense. So you need to be careful. So, mark off my inversion gap here. There's a gap here. So we're just wicking into this gap all the time. Okay, somebody's got their phone going. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself.
Hello?
Please mute yourself, Armin.
Hi.
Okay,
How are you doing over there?
Armin. Okay.
Boy, the volatility is really all over the place.
Yeah, this is, again, like I say, it's a tough go here. Okay, so Bitcoin, you see it's out, and see they're trying to get out. You see they're starting to, and it's a tough one because it is very choppy. It was possible that they could come back down and sweep all these lows one more time. So you have to be really careful. We do have a 1-2 here, another 1-2, and yet another 1-2. So that could push us out as well, and that looks like that's what's happening now. So that's fine. So on the Bitcoin, sorry, we've come back. Nice retrace here. So if we can, looking for them to drop one more time, maybe down into this gap here. It might not, but kind of looking for one more drop of Bitcoin, something like that. But they might not. They might just bounce from here. So looking at sweet spot area on this move, 50%, 50 to 62% takes us right to where they came. 50% was exactly to where they came right here. So this could be the push out at this point. So even though I was looking for another drop here.
Yeah, I was looking for a drop on NASDAQ, but I didn't get it. So I think I'll just hang it up at this point.
So NASDAQ looks like it's making its way out without any fanfare here now. So
I
it's
had
a
a
tough
nice
one.
spot to get in, but the volatility just wouldn't allow it.
This is a really tough one. So they came very close to touching this gap. They didn't quite touch it. We had a little bit of a sweep, 1-2 here, another 1-2, yet another 1-2, and now they look like they want to go. So we're still getting another 1-2. So if you really wanted to jump in, this would be probably the last chance to take advantage of this move. So I'm going to take a stab at it right there, and let's say they don't take this low, and look for put my stop right below this low here. So my risk is going to be relatively small. So they'd have to come and take me out at this low, which is totally possible. And that's what they did. See that? So That's what they would have done if I put my stop in. So it's a larger 1, 2, 3 at this point then. And so my stop would need to be lower. That's fine. So I'm going to leave that go into drawdown a little bit. So putting your stop here is dangerous because they can take that low easily. So I'm looking for them to come back now and continue back up. Let's see if we continue. So really my stop should be below the low at this point here. Put my stop right there. So they have to come back to take me, which I don't think they will do now.
You're on the NAS now, Lennox?
Yes. So 5 minutes. I'm going to go back up to see where my next, there's my, okay, go one higher for 4 hour. So that would be my TP for the next high up, which is that high there. Oh, and looks like they dropped back down and took me out. Wow. So that's very mean and nasty there for them to come back and take me out. So we had a nice looking 1, 2, 3. That's a nasty. We had a nice pin bar rejection there. It looked like that should be enough to continue us up to the upside. They said no. So they're looking to take these equal lows perhaps, which I wasn't expecting them to do that. Okay, so that kind of messes up 1, 2, 3 if they do that, which is likely now. Interesting. So relatively equal lows, not even relatively equal lows, and they're taking them. So relatively equal lows here, they might take them as well. So you can see this is a very, very sneaky, choppy area, and they did a nice little move there where it looked like they were going to go.
Wow.
Give us a retrace and we should go. They say nope. Let's take everybody out first. So okay, no problem. So that's a sneaky little play on their part there.
They're coming right down to that gap.
Yeah, there's equal lows here as well. So remember I said that we had a 1, 2 here and we could see them drop down into there. However, once they broke these highs, I thought, okay, that's it. They're not going to come back. So we're going to go. But nope, that was correct there. They wanted to come down and take out these lows. So here comes Bitcoin now, which is quite interesting with Bitcoin. So remember, I was looking for them to take these lows on Bitcoin. So because I have a 1, 2, 3 here, I would expect that they would take the low. So they come in, give us another 1, 2 in here, and now we're dropping to take the lows. So sometimes the patience is best, because at this point you might think, okay, they're done and we're just going to go. But our structure really says no, that we should take these lows out first. So, and our structure looking from the high gives us that. So let me draw that again. So from our high here, we've got a 1, 2 here, and then we get this drop. So the expected move is for them to take out the low. You see they do it with a 1, 2 here, and then we're going down again. So we're going to go down a little bit further. So this would have been a nice play to the downside. Had I been a bit more confident about them taking out this low, I would have jumped in to go short. But I wasn't totally convinced that they might not take this low out. So it's a tough one. So all this stuff in here is mute and of no use. All these gaps and so forth, it's just irrelevant to the move back to the upside. So there we go. All right, so back to the NAS again. All right, so they have taken all the lows.
It took out that big low, and it's right into the fair value gap of Let me see it's a 936 candle or something like that. I'm on the future.
So that could be the bottom. Now we've swept and come right back into the gap. So that could be the bottom, and so that again would give us our structure, albeit a very odd structure, but because they violated this number 3 point here. So this could be a turnaround point now, and we could continue up now to take out these highs. But they could also come back and take out this low one more time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to always be aware of that fact. So, or that possibility, not a fact, but a possibility. So we have a 1-2 here, 3. So I would expect them to take out this low, right? So once you start to really see the chart that way, yeah, you have to really look at it. So in here, because they took out these highs, it looked like, oh yeah, we could go from here. But they said, nope, we weren't done. All right, so catch them down here. So they're going to sweep this low, put us into midpoint of the gap. And that would be an opportunity now for a buy to go back up.
Yeah, the 5 minute looks like we should find an opportunity to go up.
So S&P, we're looking for them to take the low as well. Let's see, we might get some divergence here, so this could be interesting. So S&P does not have a big gap. Well, they do actually. They do have a gap there. So there is a gap on the S&P as well right there. So we are into the gap, same. It's been taken out by these wicks, however, but they're still coming in any case. We're looking for them to take the low. Okay, so we've swept the low on the NAS. So I would be looking for an entry now on the NAS.
This is one to be very careful of, though, because it has a strong possibility of going down instead of up.
I'm buying the fractal right there. My stop loss will be at the low. And looking for targets again up at the highs. So this previous high up here is reasonable for target. I'm gonna make that a little higher. Yeah. Okay. So we're looking for a nice push out of here. We're 23 minutes into the algo. Nothing much going on in the algo so far, really.
No, I was calling that there isn't going to be an algo because there's too much volatility going on. And at this point, I'm not.
A nice pop there.
That was a nice pop, but
yeah, let me see.
Something is making me very suspicious of this.
I'm going to take a partial again real quick here and get my loss back. And we'll continue on now. So I'm going to move my stop up. into positive. Do I go to positive? Might be a bit tight for positive yet at this point, so I'll just leave it just a little below here, just a little bit move. Okay, so looking for continued move. So just to make my previous loss back anyways, and then we'll see if we can continue on here. So this is a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. We sweep it low. We do that again. We got a one. Whoops. Okay, my mouse is sticking. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweep. Sweep. So we could get a retrace, but that's why I don't want to move my stop in yet. So we could get a retrace of this move and a continuation. So looking for got a gap right here. Small, very tiny gap there. So I kind of ignore that one. Look for this one as the main gap. So of course, when you're in it, you don't want to see a retrace, but when you're not in it, you want to see a retrace so you can catch an entry, right? So but if they can go straight up, no problem. Take out these highs here and take out the high. So I thought they would do this, but because again, whenever you get a 1, 2, you remember our structure, right? Whenever you get a 1, 2 and they're in this chop, you always have to expect that they'll come and take out this low. So, but when they start moving up and they break this level, it looks like, okay, maybe this is not going to happen, and they can just continue. So that's what I thought they were doing here, because they broke that high. So there's my 1, 2 there. So this violates our 1, 2 at this point. However, it only violates it in an impulse move. Again, impulse move means that we shouldn't break above this level. So we shouldn't go above. We should just you can touch it or whatever and then continue. So when they break above it, it's still valid. It's still a valid move, but it's just not an impulse. It's a different type of a structure. So our impulse structure, and this is the basic structure. Our impulse structure is like that, where we don't get a violation of this low. We don't violate it. But when we do have a violation of it, they can come up back above and so forth, and so that puts us in a different type of a structure. That's all that there is to that. Okay, so I'm going to move my stop into positive now because I can lock in. So even if they come back at this point, let's see if I can get at least $1,000 or so out of it. Okay, so I could get taken out because I put it a bit tight. So, but there are some gaps here. Those could hold me up. And let's see if we can make it up to that target without pulling back too much. So in the interim, Bitcoin also is making a little move up. So I would be looking for them to pull back into this gap at this point, and that would give an opportunity for a buy here. So it's the same kind of thing. They swept the low, sweep the high, and then we'd be looking for a retrace to continue. So they didn't give us much of a fifth wave here. You see that very quick. It's still a possibility that they could come back again and take that low, but it was a sweep here. So sometimes they don't come back at all, right? This is where it's very iffy. It's not, our structure says we should break that low. We would expect that. So it's a bit iffy on Bitcoin still. Whereas the NASDAQ has given us that nice push. This is more of a solid break here. This is a more solid break, even though it's just a tail. It's still a very solid break. Let's see, S&P did the same. Oh no, there was actually divergence there. Look at that.
Yeah.
there was divergence with S&P. So quite interesting.
Sure is.
Huh. So the NAS was telling the truth. S&P was lying. So the NAS tells the truth with the structure. That's what we expect. So this is our structure. It told the truth, and the S&P said, no, I'm going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to take this low out. And they didn't, and they gave us the 1, 2, 3 right away to go. So I would rather go in on the NAS because the NAS was telling the truth, even though S&P was stronger at this point. So either one would have worked, but you'd rather see the breach of the low and then a 1, 2, 3. That's a more effective, a stronger, play. For in our terms, anyways. I mean, some others might look at it the opposite, right? We're getting a nice move here. So I'm going to, again, go back up to the 4-hour because that's the only one. So this, looking for them to take out this high here and this high here and this high here today. So I would expect them to continue pushing all the way up. So I'm going for the low-hanging fruit right now, which is there. So at that point, we could get a pullback, so another gap painted there. So we're getting gaps painting in now. I don't want to bring my stop up too tight again. It's a bit, but you also don't want to leave lots of profit on the table. So, but it looks pretty good that we should make it to that high. So Bitcoin's going the opposite way, which is quite interesting. See that? They usually are going in tandem. So we're getting that 1, 2, 3. So I'm expecting them to take that low. Doesn't mean they have to, though, right? It's an expectation. But we could turn around at this point and go because the NAS is strong now. So Bitcoin might turn around and start going as well. But it's a tough one to take this trade at this point because these lows are still in play to the downside based on our structure. So it would be a risky play to take this trade, even though it looks really good. We're back into an inverted gap here and a regular gap as well. Everything looking really good for a play to the upside out of here. We're in the sweet spot area of the retrace. We've had a sweep of the lows. Everything looks really good that we could turn around and continue back up. But, and it's a big but, we could also come down, take out the lows real quick. So will they do that? Will they keep coming down, or is this going to be a turnaround point? So it looks like my take profit was hit on the NAS, so perfect.
That NAS got hit nicely.
Yeah, so at this point then, breaking that high, I'd be looking for a retrace now. However, it doesn't mean that they have to retrace either. So they can still keep going, right? But it's been a nice move to the upside here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. I would kind of expect a retrace, at least some kind of a pullback here. But shall see here. It can just, they don't have to retrace at all.
Move that we have going.
Yeah, they don't have to retrace. They can just continue pushing without retracing, but we would kind of expect a retrace at some point here. All right, so you can see our structure now even from this level at 8 o'clock this morning. You get a beautiful 1, 2, 3. So you see what was happening where we were all morning. Now you understand why we were in such a mess. If we have a 1, 2, 3 here, then you know that we're chopping up and down in this mess. Now we're slowly breaking out of that. So I'd like to see a retrace and another opportunity to continue moving to the upside, but I don't know if they're going to give us a retrace or not. We've got gaps all the way down, so put it to the first gap, this case. So it looks like they don't want to retrace at all. So it might have been just best to continue moving my stop up and move my target to the higher target, to this next target here. And they look like they're going to go right for that target up here as well. So could have just continued trailing my stop as we go, but. Yeah, so there's the next high. So that would have been a good target as well. So they're not pulling back at all, at least not very much anyways. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin again. Bitcoin still trying to decide, do they want to drop it down one more time? Or are they just going to leave the station at this point? So we're right in the sweet spot area for a buy. You know, this is at this point here, we're right in that. We came right into the 50 to 62% perfectly. However, it's we're right on 50% there. They can still come down to take these lows, so it's a bit iffy here. I've got a number of gaps in here, just marking them all off. So here they come. They're taking out these lows because in here we have equal lows, so they can take those. I'm going to make this bigger. They can take those equal lows out. That's what they're doing. See, so they're very sneaky that way. Make it look like they're going to go, and then they come back and take everybody out. So lots of liquidity here. So will they make that push down to take out the low one more time or not?
It's looking like the algo move started at 1022.
Yeah, we are getting a little bit of a pullback on the NAS now, which, you know, again, an expected pullback here. So might give us another opportunity to get into for that final move to the upside. So now with the Bitcoin, we've got a 1, 2, 3 here, 3, 4. So it's looking like they're not going to take the low. So this could be a turning point to go back to the upside. And the reason why it's looking like they're not going to take the low is because of about 1, 2, 3 here. That tells us that we don't have enough oomph to go all the way down to take out these lows at that point. I could still be wrong. They could spike it with a tail and take it out. But right now it's looking like this gap, this order block, could hold price up. But there is our structure when you see it from this view. We expect them to take this low, because that's that's our structure. We would expect that. So it's very tough to make a decision. Yes, you want to jump in at this point to go because if the expected move is to take out the low, which got stops here, you take a big risk jumping in at this point. The NAS is coming down, so
I'm kind of looking for a 50% retrace of NAS.
yeah, that would be good. At least a 50% would be good.
Yeah, that would be right into a fair value gap.
Okay, so here's a sweep on the NAS. Looks like we're done. So this could be an entry at this point here. We wait for the next candle to paint to see what the next candle does.
Yeah, I think there's more down to come on this. What time frame is that?
This is the 1 minute on Bitcoin.
Oh, it's Bitcoin.
Okay, so here we go. So this fractal, or sorry, this gap is holding Bitcoin from coming down any further, it looks like. So we are getting a possible entry signal here. We've got an inverted gap, which is not really in play so much, but I'll keep it there. Can I get a fractal, or will they take the low again? If they take that low again, then it's possible that we're coming down to take out the low, and they did. So it's possible now that we could come down, because they were just pushing down lower and lower. And if they close below this gap, then it's possibly a signal that we could come and take out that low. So it's always good to be patient here, because I didn't get a fractal. See, I didn't get a fractal. They did not go above that high of that low candle at the time, and they came back and took the low. So that's signals no trade. And so in the interim, NASDAQ is coming back. So there's my 50% mark on NASDAQ. So there's a gap there as well. So there's a gap here around the 38, 40%, something like that area. So we can see that we have a 1, 2, 3 here. So we could come down quite a ways here. We could come down to 79% even, possibly. So will Bitcoin take that low? Okay, I'm getting a fractal now. So I could take this as a buy signal. However, I'm below the gap and into the order block. So it's a tough one, but it looks really good for a buy, even though the expectation is that we should take this low. So it's a tough one again, but this would be a really nice buy at this point. So what I can do is wait for a breach of this high, and then wait for 1, 2, 3 to go. So just to get double confirmation, because it looks like this is the bottom now. Our structure is complete. We've swept all these lows out. They don't look like they want to take that low. We're getting a turnaround. So if we sweep this high and come back in, then that would be a buy opportunity on Bitcoin. So very interesting here. So now I'm getting a gap here. Can we take that high right there? So right now we're in the tail of the current 4-hour candle. So here it's all tail. We opened, they went up a little bit, and then they come back down, and we're all in a tail here. So this is looking good. So we're getting that. So you see how tempting that was to take that trade right there, because they gave us the signal, yes, that, okay, we're not going to take that low. But they did violate our gap by closing below it, and they came back into the order block. So very interesting here how this works. So now we need a retrace. If you want to take this trade, you need a retrace. So the retrace will be back into, keep the inverted gap. I'll take this guy off. Take this one off. Take this one off as well. So now we just have the regular gap here. So we're coming back into it. And there's also an inverted gap here. So the inverted gap is within the regular gap, so that either one. So a retrace into it, and that would present an opportunity for a buy. And there we go. So that's a buy right there on Bitcoin. If anyone wanted to buy Bitcoin, and remember, for those on YouTube, this is all just for educational purposes, and I'm not telling anybody to buy anything. This is just all for educational purposes. You do that at your own risk. Okay, so I would wait for a fractal still at this point. It looks pretty good here. So they might sweep this one more time, or they might not. So that's, yeah. So we get a nice fractal. So that's a nice entry right there. And I hesitated for a moment in time and thinking that maybe they will drop it one more time, but they're not. So that would have been a nice buy right there. So let's see if they come back one more time. They might not. So NAS has only retraced about 38%. George is not coming down.
Yeah, that's all it retraced.
It's not coming back any further at this point yet. They might still drop it.
It's still possible that it could come back.
All right, so I'm looking for them to do the same here on the Bitcoin. They come back one more time here. So that's two chances I had to get in, and I didn't take them. So we come right back into where I was going to buy the first time. I didn't take it again. So I really was looking for them to come in again, but they're not. Doesn't look like they are. So I'm nickel and diming myself out of this position.
Yeah, that stuff happens. The good thing is that there's more trades that come along.
So will they do it one more time? Will they give us one more opportunity? Maybe, maybe not. So I can still get in because they can break the high, go up, and come back in again. So we're, again, still in that same nice area for an entry. I'm being super picky here, but I've made some nice profits already, so I don't really want to give it back at this point. I'm looking for a deeper retrace. That's all I'm trying to say at this point here, but we might not get it. How's our time? Okay, we got about another 10 minutes before the session completes. Okay, so do we get another drop? So I'm back to where I wanted to get in first time. So I'm looking for them to come a little lower. They can still take out this low right here. So you always have to be aware that this low being taken, because that's where everybody puts their stops, right? So, but they might not do it. So I'm going to take the trade at this point. I'm going to take a shot at it here. So they can still take this low. I won't put a stop below that low because they can take it out. So really my stop, the best place for my stop is down here below this candle's low. So it's quite a risk I'm taking here, but now I'm looking for them to push back out. Now I could still be wrong, of course, and they can still come down and take out this low and take out this low. Because remember, we have a 1, 2, 3 up here. This could just be a trick play that they're doing, and they could still take me out. So there's no guarantee at all that we're going to just all of a sudden take off out of here.
Okay, we came down to the 50% on the NAS.
So you see they swept that low now. See that? So now I could be in jeopardy because they've swept that low. That could mean we're heading straight down now to take out this low. We have a 1, 2, 3 now going this way. So we have a 1, 2, 3 going this way. Swept, looking pretty good that, yeah, we should go, but they also have a 1, 2, 3 this way, which could come down and take me out. So it's a little bit of a tricky area. I'm just kind of saying that these gaps should hold us up and we should go back up, but we'll see if I'm correct or not. All right, so let's go back to the NAS. Did we come down? We came back down 50%. Look at that, eh? Beautiful. So opportunity for the NAS now. And it looks like we could come down one more time as well. We take these equal lows out. So wait for that. I'd like to be below 50% ideally, right, when we get in. How's Tesla doing? Oh, Tesla. Wow, look at that move. Peter hasn't said a word, so he must be just concentrating on this and must have caught this move to the upside. I would bet the farm that Peter caught this move to the upside on Tesla. So there's a nice move there. Lock this guy. So that was, see how they came right down to midpoint of that opening gap. They came right back into the midpoint, just wicked it, and then off they went. Just beautiful move there. So on the 1 minute, this was the 1, 2, 3 bottom. The catch, sweeping the lows, and off we went.
Peter says he has been muted. Well, he can unmute
Oh,
himself.
you can unmute yourself, Peter. I cannot unmute you, so you have to unmute yourself. Could you tell him that he has to unmute himself, Armin? Because I can't unmute him.
Thanks, Armin.
So quite the nice move there on Tesla. That's a beautiful move from 245 up to 258. That's hefty move there. Oh, you're getting 13 points right there. That's superb. All right, so we are sweeping those lows. So Bitcoin is not making a good strong move out of that mess. So I'm not liking that. We're hanging around in here for way too long. So I'm a bit perturbed at that. I could still be in jeopardy of getting taken out the longer they hang around in here. I'd like to see them just go, but they're not going. So I would need to see them take out this high here to feel a little bit comfortable that maybe, yes, we're going to go. But they're just hanging in around in here. So if they take this low, then I could be in jeopardy. So at a very crucial point here now. Yeah, it's looking more like they're going to chop this up and maybe come back down one more time because they're taking too long to get out. So I might exit stage left if I just come back up into positive here. All depends on how this moves out. All right, so NAS, let's see. So we're getting a chance to get into the NAS now, back to the upside, right? So that gives us, if I go to the higher, let me go up to the hourly and we'll look at this. Okay, so
I'm not sure what's going on with the NAS.
Well, we've had quite the run, right? We've had quite a move to the upside there, 4-hour time frame, very strong. So liquidity is sitting still above this level and this level. So we still have opportunity to go out and take those two highs out. That's what I would expect because our structure gives us that expectation. So I'm still looking to go long. I don't want to be going short as yet. So that's what I would be expecting. So if I'm going to jump in, I want to go long. So this is an opportunity at this point here to take a long. So I'd have to wait for the next candle to see how that paints. But Bitcoin's giving me hard times here. I just missed my opportunity to actually exit Bitcoin because they just came back into positive here for a moment. And now, yeah, because I went to the NAS, I missed that. So yeah, could have lost my opportunity to get out right there. So now they've come back down this low into this gap. Not liking that. Could just be a sweep, mind you, but not liking that very much. So that's why they're hesitant about getting out because they're just still looking to collect as many stops as they can down here. So they've just swept these guys here. So we could see a push back up now, taking out these highs. That would be good. Otherwise, I'm out. I'm done. So let's see if we can get a bounce.
We went below the fair value gap on the NAS. I got a little bit of profit out of this, but I'm wondering if it wants to go south instead of continuing north.
It is possible. We're just below 50% on the NAS retrace, so we could go a little lower, certainly. But we're below 50%. There's the next gap is down here.
Next
around-
gap is down, yeah, it's about 49. It's about 15 handles below, almost touched it. I made a good decision to get out with a profit.
So Bitcoin looks like they want to take out go further down. So I'm going to exit if I can get back up here, because they're taking way too long in here to move out. So I can get another push back to the upside, which might not happen for me. Yeah, they're taking the low again. So I'm in jeopardy now of being taken out, unless that's the last hurrah here, but it's very dicey now. I'm trying to hide my stop below the gap, but that might not work for me here.
I went low on NAS and it worked out. But,
Yeah, so that didn't work on Bitcoin. See, that's exactly what they were going to do. So I had a chance to get out what I was saying, but I was on NAS, so I missed that opportunity.
I'm not sure what happened on the NAS.
They spiked it down quite aggressively.
Yeah, it took out one of mine, but it didn't get out. There goes the second one. Well,
So there's Bitcoin, as expected,
sure
going down to take out
on.
the lows. See, so I should have stuck with my guns and not get sucked into going in long here, because that's the expected move to the downside. But they played it like they weren't going to do it, and now I realize they were going to do it once they started messing around in here. So that's very, very sneaky of them. They did it beautifully, and suckered me into going in long here when I should not have been going in long at that point. So very, very, very good on their part. So we're at. Is there news right now at 11? There shouldn't be. We're getting quite the movements in the NAS.
I think there was some crude oil news coming up.
So yeah, very interesting here on Bitcoin. Very sneaky play, and should have held out to my structure. So gave back some of my profits there, so I'll have to make that back again. So NAS is just tailed down. Excuse me.
NAS looks like it wants to continue down, but I got closed out on it.
I'm looking for a turnaround here on the Bitcoin. I'm going to stick with one here for a moment in time. I'm watching the NAS on the other side. So they've dropped quite a bit on the NAS, but I'm looking for them to turn it around. They should turn around now. We actually
went through the gap.
Excuse me. We should get a turnaround on the NAS.
Turn around to what side?
To the upside.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We were expecting the pullback on the NAS. So we got the pullback. We're down in the 79% retrace.
Yeah,
so,
right.
We should be turning back.
To 79,
so there is Bitcoin doing what I expected it to do, and see how they're taking out the lows over to the left here on the 15-minute time frame as well. So there's a big gap here. So it looks like they're coming into that gap, sweeping these lows to the left. So that's a 30-minute gap. So I think I have it on. Is there an hourly? Yeah, there's an hourly gap. So that's what they're looking to touch, perhaps right there. 15-minute time frame. So we've swept these lows now. We could come in and touch that low, that gap, or they might just turn it around at this point because now we've swept everybody out, including myself. All right, so now there we go, the big sweep. That's the structure here. So again, we could still come down one more time into the gap because there's an expected low here that we could get taken out.
Well, they're not giving you much of an opportunity to get in.
Okay, so on the NAS, let me just quickly take a look at the NAS. I jumped in on this move here with a fractal, so I'm looking for them to push to the upside here and continue going back to the upside. So far so good. I took a partial off already on that move. So it gave me a 1-2. It's a 1-2-3, but it's very quick. See, they came back in, and now we should take out the high and continue pushing up. So my getting a gap here would be helpful, would be really helpful. And I could put a stop just below this wick here.
And on the NAS, we're into that 50% gap area. It's looking like we want to go back up.
Right, so Bitcoin, looking for them to take the low out one more time. So I'll go another 9 minutes. We'll go to 11:15 Eastern, and we'll call it a morning. So again, our structure, boy, this was very sneaky of them because it looked like, again, that we were done. They weren't going to come down and take this low or this low once they started to drop in here. But it was the hesitation in here that caused me to realize, okay, nope, I was wrong. They're going to take the lows. They're going to take these guys out, and more than likely take these guys out and these guys out, which was the expected. So very, very, very sneaky, very smart on their part. So do we get another drop here? I would expect that, right? And the reason I'm expecting that again is because I have a 1, 2, 3 here. So this is just another chop, and we could drop one more time. All right, so we're moving up quite nicely here on the NAS.
Yes, we are. I just got some profits stored away.
So we can sweep out these equal highs here.
Yeah, I'm looking for that second high.
I can put a target on at this point. My target, I'm going to go up to the hourly. This is 4 hour, and I can see exactly. So my target, I'm going to set it for the high here. So that would mean I have to stay in probably to the close.
Today, yeah, I'm not going that high.
So I'm gonna set it there, but you know this is quite a ways up at this point. However, it is a possibility that we could slowly climb all the way up. Now, low hanging fruit, of course, would be this target here, and that's reasonable as well. Totally reasonable to go for low hanging fruit at that point. But I'll just keep moving my stop up as if I can stay alive. So I've moved my stop into positive at this moment in time. I could get taken out because I'm a little tight. So this gap, I was hoping this gap here would hold. So it might not. They might come and take this low, which would take me out. And that's one of the things about moving your stop into positive. You get taken out just like that. So that's exactly what happened here. So here's my low at this point. We get this move up, back in. So it's another buy opportunity still to continue pushing higher. So it's totally mute about putting your target on if you get stopped out. So that's all there is to it. So we're coming back into this gap. So I would look for a fractal again to enter and continue going up. I wouldn't expect them now to come back and take this low at this point. I don't think that's in the cards. I would expect us to push off and continue going up, taking out these highs, and these highs. But I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, and it's, there's still a possibility they could come and take these lows, but I wouldn't expect that. So we've got a 1, 2, 3. So it is a possibility. You can see why, right? That this possibility is there. So I'm going to check the S&P to see if there's any divergence at this point, and there isn't. So we've got a 1, 2 here. We've dropped, and now they're chopping. So we could chop up. They can come up, sweep these guys out, fake everybody like they're going to go long, and drop it back down and take everybody out again. So this is a very sneaky play that they do, and that may be the reason why I'm getting stopped out, because I wasn't expecting them to come back down. But now I look at the structure, and the structure is telling me that this is a possibility, that they can do that. So that's where this structure is king, so getting that structure move. So this move, I could jump in and go up, but they might not. They might just take these guys out and then turn it around again to come back down, take everybody out one more time. I wouldn't expect them to take out the low down here, but that's still a possibility as well. So that would really violate our move back to the upside if that occurs, So this is a very tempting buy here because I'm getting a nice fractal. Very nice fractal opportunity here for a buy. So this is very tempting to buy this now. So this is a risk play because they can still come down again and take everybody out.
Yeah, I just grabbed a little piece of it.
So Bitcoin, they're both under pressure a little bit here. So you can see Bitcoin now again looking for them to take out this low, because this structure here tells us that this is just a chop, and we could drop one more time to take out that low. So yeah. No play to the upside on Bitcoin at this point. So
the same is true for NAS. It looks like it wants to go down some more before it goes up.
Yeah, they're hanging around a bit too long in there again. So it's saying, possibility that we could drop here. They could also fake everybody and go up first, because this is low hanging fruit here now for them.
Yeah, true.
And they could do that and then drop it. So there's a couple of different scenarios that could play out. And that's the thing with our structure and our 1, 2, 3 is that we have to look at all the possibilities. So when we have this, just the main structure is this structure, and when we get below our number 2 point here, this is our 1, 2, 3. when we get below this point in here, they can do whatever they want and mess everybody up. And this is what they typically do. They make bull flags and pennants and all the names you can think of. They make in here and then fool everyone and then drop it. So that's a typical. It's very, very difficult in here, and it's prohibitive. And we usually recommend that you don't play in here.
Right. That's why I took my profits and they're going to sit on my hands.
But since we're on the 1 minute time frames, most of the time this plays out pretty quickly. So on the 1 minute time frame, we get that 1, 2, 3. We drop to this low here. We draw that again. We get our 1, 2, 3. We drop to this low. So at this point, we're expecting them to take this low out. However, when you get in here, it's very difficult to play, and you have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, especially since volatility has just jumped up a lot higher than I would like.
I'm actually seeing them taking the highs like one more time here. So I think that's what they're going to do, and then they're going to drop it down. So we'll see how that plays out. Now in the interim, Bitcoin, just real quick, Bitcoin is
my problem is I'm seeing it go down on the NAS at this point.
Yeah, they could do that.
But either one is possible.
Yeah, so there's Bitcoin.
Sit it out.
Bitcoin is doing just what we expected. They drop it down. So it's the same as the NAS. We get that 1, 2, we drop to this low. They chop it up, and now they drop it down again. So that's what we expected on Bitcoin. And then NASDAQ, we would, they could drop it straight, just like the Bitcoin, or they could go up and then drop it again. So one or the other is going to play out. We're 15 minutes after the hour, so I'm going to call it a morning. So be cautious in this area. That's the main takeaway at this point.
Thank you very much, Lennox.
Yes, sir. And Tesla is still going.
Thank you.
All right, Marquis. Is a little. Are you able to make some trades there, Marquis, without much?
I was. So I think you muted me right when I started focus.
There was some noise that going on there. You're able to unmute yourself, so that's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Peter figured it out that he can unmute himself.
But I'm currently in a NAS trade to the downside right now. About to put myself to break even here. So good deal.
Yeah, and that looks good for a trade to the down. You've got a 1, 2, 3 there. So I'm expecting them to take that low. So if this 1, 2, 3 is holding, then we will break that low, and it looks like they could take out the lows down here as well. So we could fall quite a ways on that. So yeah, good play to the downside currently. And then Bitcoin is also taking out the lows and going quite a ways down. So interesting turn on Bitcoin there. It was looking pretty good that we would continue going up, but they come back into this gap that we were pointing out. This is an hourly gap. So we could turn around from here and continue back up though. So, all right. I will say au revoir. Thanks everybody for dropping in. I appreciate it much. And for those on YouTube, do give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you like what you're seeing. We are the Simple 1, 2, 3 Traders. Simple method, model, system, and but not easy to trade, as you can see. But it's a simple concept. All right. Thanks everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.